Hi mamas, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then hi, welcome. My name is Tori and my channel is called The Wild Mother, and on my channel I make videos all about motherhood inspired by nature, which includes topics like eating a nourishing, ancestral, traditional foods diet, herbs and other natural remedies, and keeping your family healthy with herbs and natural remedies, and respectful and conscious parenting. So I am so glad that you're here watching this video, and if you like this video then you'll probably like the other videos on my channel, so I would love if you click the subscribe button and join my community here. So in this video today I wanted to show you how I make my bone broth. Now I will just say I'm not like a bone broth expert but I just want to show you the way I do it. Since Thanksgiving just passed, I have bones left over from a whole turkey that we had. It's a ton of bones. Usually when I make bone broth, I make like a big pot and it's from the bones of one whole chicken. But since the turkeys are obviously bigger than chickens, I have a lot of bones. So I'm going to make at least 2 batches. So I figured for this video I would show you 2 different methods. I'm going to do one in my crock pot and I'm going to do one on the stove top. And they're basically done like the exact same way. I usually make my bone broth on the stove just because I just throw it in a pot on the stove, but you can totally do a crock pot, which I think I will do now. So first thing is I have all my bones and I divided them in half in the crock pot and half in the stock pot. And then I'm also going to add in pretty much, you don't even have to add in veggies to be honest, but I think this time it does make it taste better. So I'm going to add in onion and carrots, chopped up onion and chopped up carrots. They don't have to be finely chopped, just chunks. So I'm gonna add those in. Let me cut those up and I will add them in now. Okay, so I have my veggies chopped up here. I chopped up 2 onions, 4 carrots, and 4 cloves of garlic. I figured why not add some garlic into it since it is getting to be chilly and cold season, so why not give us that extra medicinal boost that the garlic carries. So you do not have to put veggies in your broth. Like I said, actually a lot of the time I don't put veggies in my broth, but it does make it taste better. It adds extra nutrients to it, so why not go ahead and do it if you have onions and carrots, celery, garlic, whatever laying around. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this in. I'm gonna do 1 onion in each pot and then 2 carrots, the equivalent of 2 carrots. So 2 carrots into my stock pot, 2 carrots and 1 onion into my slow cooker. And then I'm also gonna do the 2 cloves of garlic per pot. So 1, 2 in the crock pot, 1, 2 in the stock pot. Perfect. All right, and then regarding herbs, you could really add whatever herbs you want to add to make your broth like a medicinal type of bone broth, and just for taste too. Today I'm going to add rosemary and then also astragalus root, because astragalus is really incredible for your immune system. It's very like gentle, immune supportive, and then it's also really good in helping prevent respiratory infections. That's like what one of the traditional uses, and there have been some studies that came out regarding that use for it. So I'm gonna add that in. It's just all around really supportive for the body and a good thing. And then also rosemary for taste. And honestly, I don't measure, I just kind of liberally sprinkle in. So I'm gonna do that here. And then for the rosemary, I love rosemary so much. It's actually like probably one of my favorite herbs, and I love cooking with it too. So give a generous sprinkle of that in there. One of my favorite things to add into my broth, which I do not have any of today unfortunately, but one of my favorite things is dried mushrooms, like dried medicinal mushrooms. I will try to find one like I put in it sometimes to link in the description, but usually I buy it locally at a health food store. It just comes with like different mushrooms that you can buy in the store, like some dried lion's mane, dried reishi, dried maitake, different mushrooms like that than like the baby bella mushrooms. And so I do like to get those dried and add those in too. But today I don't have any, so you can totally make your broth without it. But if you want an extra medicinal boost into your bone broth, then you could add in dried mushrooms. So the last couple things we're gonna add are salt and apple cider vinegar. The apple cider vinegar, I believe, helps like pull the nutrients, pull the minerals, pull the constituents and everything out of the bones and into the broth. So that's a good thing to add. You don't need much, just like, I think I'll probably do about a tablespoon, and then also about a teaspoon or so of salt. So I'll go ahead and add those in now. So I'll just measure out a teaspoon here. I like to use Redmond's real salt. There are other great brands of salt you can get too. And then for your apple cider vinegar, I'm just using organic, raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar that has the mother in the bottom. It's a lot of like good health benefits. So I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of that. All right, so now you have to fill with water. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff under my Berkey so that it can be filling up with water. You basically just want your water to be covering the bones. You can. So on the stovetop, I usually let mine go about like 7 or 8 hours, sometimes more, like up to 12. You want it to be long enough to where it will be gelatinous and be able to break down the bones. But the longer that you do it, the water will start to evaporate and go down. So you may have to add more water into your stock pot. And I have made the mistake multiple times now of forgetting about my broth and just leaving it boiling, even on low. But when you leave it for hours, leave it on your stove, all the water goes away. So don't do that. Keep in mind to just keep checking on it and add a little bit more water when you need to. So I just filled up the pot. My Berkey did run out of our filtered water, so I'm going to refill that and wait for it to filter through before I fill up the crock pot. It is really important to me that you use a high quality filtered water, since this is going to be a very nutritious broth. I just want to make sure that our water is not contaminated or has anything in it. So that's why I only use our water from the Berkey when I'm making our bone broth, or really just in general. I try to always use that. So I'm gonna put this on the stove, cover it with a lid, turn it on low, leave it for around 8 hours, 8 to 12 hours. Check on it frequently throughout and add some more water if I need to in order to keep it around, at or above the bones. Basically, you just take it off of heat, let it cool, and then strain it and keep your broth in the jars. And you can toss the extras or compost them. You may even be able to get a second batch of broth with your bones. Sometimes that works and it's just as gelatinous and everything as the first batch. So for my crock pot bone broth, I'm just gonna put the lid on it and leave it on low for 12 hours and check on it after that. It should have all the water in it because the water doesn't really disappear in a crock pot like it does on the stove. So then I will just turn it off, let it cool, and strain, separating the water in the broth from the veggies and the bones. And then again, I may be able to get a second batch of broth with the bones too. You can keep this broth in the freezer. I usually put mine in jars and then put it in the freezer. Be careful, because I have heard a lot of people say that their jars always break when they put them in the freezer. I use thick juice jars. I don't know if that matters, but thick juice jars. I put the broth in it, put it in the fridge first to cool it a lot, and then so the broth is like cool. Then I put it in the freezer and I store it for, you know, like a month, 2 months, 3 months, and just pull it out and use it as I need to. And this will be nice with this turkey because I think that I'm going to be able to get 2 batches of broth from each round of bones. So 4 batches of broth total. I don't even know if I have that many jars, but I'm excited to be stocked up on some medicinal bone broth to help us get, you know, through winter and everything with our broth. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and let me know in the comments if you decide to make some of your own bone broth, or if you currently make bone broth, then tell me if you make yours any different than mine, or like some interesting herbs that you'd like to try and add into yours, because I would love to try different recipes to improve mine. So yes, I hope this video was helpful for you, and yeah, I hope that you guys have an awesome rest of your week and an awesome holiday. Stay wild, mamas.